Get them up. Welcome everyone to the Film Vault. That is Anderson. I'm Brian Bishop, your host for today. Top 5 movies that would be better if they were horror films. Top 5 movies better as horror movies. Anderson, how are you? You look great.
Thanks, bud. Yeah, I'm good. I'm great. I'm fantastic. We're doing the show remote, as you may have heard, and it's disappointing. It's a little disappointing because I came down with a little bit of a some sniffles, and I didn't want to get you or our film producer this week, Jordan Montgomery, sick. So here we are, and unfortunately, Brian doesn't have the appropriate gear to make himself sound halfway decent. So
I think I have a great microphone. It's recording. We're good to go.
No, you sound like absolute trash. But what can you do?
I don't know if that's true.
No, it's true. I mean, people didn't even understand what you just said. I mean, that's true.
Yeah, but that's my own deficiencies.
Well, I mean, the mic's not doing you any favors. See what I'm saying?
And how?
Yeah. I should have just risked your own life. Risked your life for the quality of the show. But that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, seriously, where are your priorities, man?
I know. But you know what? It's like anything. Hopefully, you just adjust. You adjust to the difference in sound quality because this is a fun episode. We do it once every 8 years or so, and we're gonna try and do it on a more regular basis. I really like this exercise. It's a lot of fun. Picking the movies is fun. It's just really open ended. What we do is we pick 5 movies, some of which I don't know. I can't speak for you, Brian. How'd you go about it? Like some of these I really like. Some of them not so much.
I think all of mine are movies I dislike. Let me look real quick. Yes. To some degree, I disliked all of these. And I think they could be improved by edging into the horror genre.
Okay. So, yeah. And we are just reinventing them if they were keeping, obviously, some of the majority of the characters and some of the plot points. And the story has to stay the same to a degree. But then we're making it into ultimately a horror films to improve on the product.
One controversial selection I will predict. I'll go ahead and tease it now. My least favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
All right, so Hateful Eight will be discussed. I guess he's going to turn that into a horror film. This is a movie that Brian has already said numerous times in the past that he feels was originally supposed to be a horror movie by the old Tarantino over there, and he just made a few adjustments to turn it into a Western. So I know where you're going, Brian.
You're very foolish if it's not that.
I pay attention. Yeah, I'm going to sound very foolish if it's not that, but I'd imagine it is.
Django Unchained and Deadly.
What else? So you and Jordan were talking about some MCU stuff before the mics actually started recording.
I didn't say anything. Jordan brought it up.
Yeah, I don't know how breaking news this may be, but I was asking if you guys heard who the newest member of the MCU family was going to be. Harrison Ford will be joining the MCU in the newest Captain America movie, New World Order. He will be replacing William Hurt's character, Thunderbolt Ross. I don't know if you remember him from he was in some of the Avengers movies even, and the original Hulk movie, I believe, as well.
He was, yes. He was in the Ed Norton Hulk movie, and I think he made a couple of appearances here and there, maybe even during, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Endgame, Tony Stark's funeral.
Yep, I believe he was there as well.
Doesn't he play a dick?
He's a bit of an antagonist sometimes.
He's your stereotypical kind of government figure who has to figure out how to integrate superheroes into the world.
Well, at least I imagine comic book devotees will know more details, but at least in the Ed Norton movie, he's the de facto. Well, I guess he's one of the antagonists, Tim Roth being the main antagonist, but he is consumed with capturing the Hulk and harnessing his powers, I suppose.
Oh, I like that storyline. So wait, he wants to capture the Hulk and harness his powers for military usage.
As far as I remember, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I remember him trying to capture the Hulk.
I think you're absolutely right because that's such a unique take on things. You know what I mean? It's so creative,
fresh.
Yeah, fresh. That's the word I was looking for. It's such a fresh idea, Brian, to take something that's kind of like innocent or good to its core, but it's got power and trying to harness it for evil, Brian.
Can you imagine if we militarized dinosaurs? Oh my god.
I guess there's always like new people born every day, and they haven't heard the story, so they get to retell it. I guess maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Is that why? We should pick it. We should be picketing in the street for tired old tropes being fucking fed to us over and over and over again. Why are we cool with it? Why are we cool with it?
Women's rights are being taken away every day, but yeah, let's pick it up for the Marvel movies.
Brian, I can't let myself get passionate about things that matter, because imagine that. Imagine.
I know. Imagine the fury concentrated.
How quick would I be radicalized? I would be radicalized like instantly. I learned long ago that I can't be trusted to care about things that actually matter. I gotta harness them and funnel. Speaking of harness, I gotta make sure that they're guided towards fodder, right?
Folly.
Fodder.
No, it's not the right word.
Fodder.
You mean things that don't matter is what you mean to say. Folly.
Fodder fucking works fine.
Fodder is like just material. You're cannon fodder. You're fodder for jokes. Go ahead, look it up.
I wanna punch you right in between your bald eyes.
Maybe it's better that we're not together.
Fodder. Food, especially dried hay or feed for cattle. Oh, fuck everything. All right.
Oh, I was laughing during the after disaster when you were talking. What was the word? Epic. You were like, I looked up the definition of epic. The dictionary, most people don't know this, his job is to only explain how words are used or were used. They don't actually define the word. That makes sense.
If I get enough people using fodder the way I want them to.
Yes, exactly. The dictionary have to recognize that.
I remember literally, I think recently got changed.
Yeah, to mean figuratively.
Very upsetting. All right. We know it's not upsetting. It's this week's episode. It's gonna bring.
I'm excited for this.
All right, so where do we go? I'm very excited to see Harrison Ford reprise that role. It's not reprise. Come in and take over the. Still can't believe William Hurt's gone, but whatever. That's not all right. So let's get into it. I'm sorry. I'm all over the goddamn place. All over the place, Brian.
All right, go ahead and start. Or do you want me to start? I don't care.
I pulled out Atticus's tooth out of his head.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
The front tooth. So that little, I know you're dealing with it with Tessa. Like both her front teeth are gone. I saw that the hockey smile.
It's adorable.
It is. It's adorable, but it's like that little smile's gone forever now. It's just like we're just cool with that, I guess. It's just gone forever. We're never going to see that.
Well, yeah, there's like these kids move through stages. She's in the toothless smile stage right now.
I have a hard time letting things go. I'm a very sentimental fella, I guess. And
when it comes to teeth.
Well, I mean that smile, like he looks like a different kid now, right?
Here, I don't know. Can we here? Is this going to print?
You're cutting off her face, but that's fine. Yes, we get it, Brian. There's the
yeah, that toothless grin.
All right,
adorable.
All right, who starts? I got 4 recent movies, semi-recent, and then one. Yeah, all my movies are post 2000. One of the stories is a classic, and that's what I'm keeping for number 1. Could be controversial as to the fact that I even have this on the list. However, I saw a remake recently, so I think that I think we'll allow it. But we'll get there when we get there. The other 4 movies are all beloved by certain groups, not necessarily me.
Interesting. Mine, my number 1 is actually a remake, and it needs to be remade again. And all of mine are also fairly recent, except for number 1, which dates, I think, all the way back to like 1999.
My original, it's from a book. It doesn't matter. My number 2, though, I really, really like. I like that movie a lot, but I just kind of ran with it. And I also ranked them with how I like the stories, where they ended up going as far as retelling them. So
I'll go ahead and start. Yes, number 5 for me, a movie I believe you have not seen, which is good. I unfortunately saw it in the theater, and it's hashtag bad. But I think it'd be a lot better because it already a lot of mine, I should point out, already have elements of horror films, and it's like, all right, well, don't fucking keep your 1 foot in each arena. Go ahead and dive into the horror. I'm talking about the tween romance Twilight the vampire movie. Instead of a dull, tepid tween romance, let's liven it up a little bit. Let's some more traditional vampire elements. How about this? Robert Pattinson is an Edward Cullen. He's the immortal Count Dracula. And in this version of the movie, he and his family are responsible for a series of murders in the Seattle area where they've settled.
Okay.
So it's basically a reboot of, not a reboot, but a continuation of the Dracula story.
Oh, so you're just wishing Twilight was more like the vampire movies that came before it.
Yeah, more traditional, more horrifying. Yeah. You never saw Twilight, I assume?
No, I'm aware of it though. I know they twinkle and whatnot, sparkle, I guess.
Glimmer.
All right, okay. Brian wants Twilight to be more traditional. Okay.
I'm saying that'd be a way to make it a better movie.
Number 5 for me, Brian. I don't have a whole lot to go off of this one. However, I think you and I will both agree that Green Book would be a better movie if it had been horror. Talking about Green Book.
Green Book, the Best Picture winner.
Best Picture winner. That's right. Which tells the tale of a Frank Tony Lip Vallelonga. I don't know.
We only know him as the
Tony
Lip.
Lip. Tony Lip. Yeah, Tony Lip, and how he was. He's a bouncer. He's beef, right? And
He's the muscle.
Knucklehead. He all brawn, no brain, right? Yeah, he's a, what is he? Meathead.
He's the muscle. He's the muscle. He's the enforcer.
Yeah. And back in the 50s,
he's the Marty McSorley.
Back in when America was still
that?
great. What? He's a Marty McSorley?
That's right.
I mean, okay.
That was for you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. He has originally drafted by the Pittsburgh Penguins, if you must know. But okay, yeah, Marty McSorley was he was an enforcer in the NHL for a very long time. He had a cult following when he played for the Kings, and that's what Brian is. Thank you, Brian.
He's the Liev Schreiber of Goon.
All right. Yes, he is. So Tony Lip, he is all those things and more, and he's played by Viggo Mortensen, as we might remember. This movie, everyone knows this movie, right? I also pick movies that people have heard of. So Green Room, and he's tasked with not Green Room, sorry, Green Book. He's tasked with driving Don Shirley around, who is a very well-to-do, accomplished composer, right, a musician, and.
Yep.
It's the 50s though, so it's back when
he's a concert pianist, right?
What?
Isn't he like a concert pianist?
Yes, I believe so. And he's it's during the 50s, so despite the fact that he's accomplished and he's an entertainer and people come to pay him and he's well educated and he's part of society. The underbelly of the United States of America at that time was exceptionally racist, and they were holding on to their southern ways, and he wasn't allowed to be a part of to stay in many places and
certain hotels.
Yeah, it was still like Jim Crow bullshit was still happening, right? And they had to use this Green Book. So that was fascinating in the movie itself. It was fascinating learning about this Green Book, which was like the African Americans' guide to the South and where to stay, and like if you're traveling, if they had
like a AAA guide, but for African Americans.
So that's what we saw in the Green Book, and it was funny watching the Academy get it wrong, because it was when they were first were put on notice that they were being racist, so they quickly tried to correct that with this movie, but that didn't do them any favors because there's a lot of controversy as to many. I'm not getting into all that, but my version of Green Book is Tony Lip sees what's happening, and it becomes a road trip trail of blood in the wake of all the injustices they encounter along the way. Very satisfying.
Like reverse Collateral.
Yes, it could be a reverse Collateral in that sense, with who's in the front seat, who's in the back seat. But Tony Lip, he's seen enough. He sees what his racist counterparts are doing, and he decides to the two of them go on a bit of a tour.
Tony Lip's in on it.
Oh, Tony Lip is like, yeah, he's like, hey, you know what? I see what you're talking about. This is not acceptable. This is not how I do things. I'm the muscle here, and they just start torturing these racist rednecks. Huh?
Wow.
Fun. A lot of fun. Yeah. I think it'd be.
I liked Green Book.
What's it?
I liked Green Book, but I think this might be a little more accessible.
It'd be very, very satisfying. Think Badlands, Natural Born Killers, Boys Next Door, like all those roadkill movies. They're roadkill movies. That's what they are.
Roadkill.
But they're like They're on the road and they're killing. They're roadkill movies.
California with a K.
Yeah.
It's a roadkill movie.
Yeah, I wanted more from that movie, but yeah, that's another one. Yeah. Roadkill movies. I never heard that before. Not
Top
bad.
5 roadkill movies.
Top 5 roadkill might be, you know what? People are just going to think that it means like, dead raccoons. Speaking of roadkill, you watching, you're not Dahmerian, are you?
No.
Oh, it's a tough watch.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
heard
real-
it's unpleasant.
What's that?
I heard it's unpleasant.
It is. And I'm not so sure if I should be watching it. It is humanizing the victims, but I'd heard that it doesn't humanize him, and it is. It's giving him all sorts of excuses as to why he did what he did. This Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't know. I'm not so sure I should be watching it. I got misgivings, Brian. I'm at 4
Are
episodes.
you starting to feel sympathies?
They're definitely getting me, trying to get me to. Yeah, like maybe this is why he's like that. Maybe like that. And I love the actor who plays him.
Who is anyone you know?
It's Quicksilver. The guy who does.
From Marvel?
Yeah, John Peter.
Evan Peters.
Peter. What's that? Evan Peters. Right?
Yeah.
God, I'm dumb. I'm sorry. Blame it on sickness. Thanks, Jordan. Yes. He's also he was in American Horror Story first season.
Oh,
You know.
great.
You know him if you saw him. He's
Okay, I believe you.
yes. Quicksilver, right? Quicksilver. Is it
No,
Quicksilver?
Quicksilver from X-Men or Quicksilver
yeah.
from Avengers?
X-Men.
Well, yeah, have you guys watched WandaVision?
Yeah, I've
No.
not watched one of it. I watched the first episode.
He makes a little appearance.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Oh.
But
Good
yeah,
stuff.
How about that?
it's an interesting crossover. But yeah,
Quicksilver is the best. It's the best part of the last few X-Men movies that I've seen, or the scenes where Quicksilver shows up.
Tess
Bryce,
is
can I
wearing
hear-
a pair of pink Beats by Dre. She looks adorable.
Take your word for it, brother. Can you continue the program?
Yeah, we're good. I
What
was just
happened to you,
alerted
Rock?
that we have ants.
You've had them for quite some time.
That's true. Off and on, they've been mostly gone since the exterminator came. This is fascinating, I'm sure, to everyone. But apparently, there's ants.
That's good to know, Brian. Thank you. Glad I'm not there. This is the worst show we've ever done.
I agree, and I blame you.
No, it is my
See,
sickness.
that's a stark contrast to when you say that on the after disaster, and like, no.
It'd be a lot worse if Jordan wasn't here helping us out. So I appreciate that. But yeah,
Who's Jordan?
Jordan is he's the guy who's helping us out with all this.
Oh, Jomo.
Jomo.
Yes.
Now you see, just use his real name.
Oh,
what are you talking about?
we didn't plug our YouTube. All right, you can check out our YouTube, the Film Vault. All right, let's what's your next one there, Barbara?
Can they see this on YouTube?
Yes.
I thought you were abandoning the second episode YouTube. No?
No, we talked about it, but then Jomo talked us into it.
Good for you, Jomo. Number 4 for me, it should be no surprise to everyone that I'm not a big fan of the movie Annette, but it's halfway there, right, to a horror movie with the creepy doll child throughout. Just go for what you were obviously aspiring to, a modern day Rocky Horror Picture Show. So
What?
this is keep all the songs, keep all the
Brian,
silliness,
you
ratchet
not
up,
hear
ratchet up the campiness.
Can you not hear
What?
me?
What?
Annette is not a modern day Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Well,
And
that's what they're aspiring to, clearly.
no, clearly that's not. I don't think that anyone has ever made that connection in the history of the
Until
world.
just now. I cracked the code. You're welcome.
All right, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, Annette could be fun if they like really leaned into it and made it like campy. But instead they tried to make it like serious and metaphorical, and I wasn't having it.
You know what's funny, Brian? I have 3
Listen.
movies that were on my list that I didn't go with, and that's one of them.
Oh, really? How would you have done it?
I mean, just I think it's right there with the daughter, right?
The doll child needs to
she's
play a
gas-
big part.
She's grisly, ghastly, and disturbioso. Like,
Yeah.
she takes center stage and she does grisly things. All right, so you're saying that it should just be a Rocky Horror Picture Show and people should be eating like corpses and whatnot.
Yeah, because they obviously, well, they wanted the music to be a big part of the movie, but the movie's not fun, so make it fun.
Did they want the music to be a part of the movie, a big part of the movie? Because I feel like if
It's
they did,
literally musical.
they would have done better with writing the songs Beyond, I love you so much, which I guess was the whole point of that song. Was that's how most songs, if you actually listen to them, are just saying the same thing over and over again.
We love each other. Oh my.
It was so hard to deal with. It was so hard to get through, Brian.
I know, and you're deep in your hipster heart, you wanted so badly to love that movie.
Hey, listen, I sit down and watch every movie, and I hope to love it. But yeah, I was hoping to love that one.
You were struggling the whole time, like, this is very bad, but I want to love it.
No, I do love that Adam Driver. And the opening stuff was really, really good with the long takes, and they walk out of the theater there, and they're walking down the street in Santa Monica, and they get on the motorcycle. There's some good stuff in there, but it definitely
Few
loses
and
me.
far between.
All right, here we go. Getting back on my list over here. That's number 4 for me. All right. Do you remember Avatar?
Actually, you know what? For a movie that made $1 billion and I saw it twice in the theater, I don't remember much about it.
So it came out in 2009. I don't blame you if you don't remember a whole lot. It's very involved, and he built an entire world. You got to give him credit for actually doing the legwork and creating this world with the I think it's RDA is the name of the company, and then they got to bind the build this up. So they had to build this system, these programs where they could have essentially. I don't want to set up the whole story because it's so involved, but
Yeah, please recap Avatar.
they go to the planet where they need to mine some stuff,
Pandora.
but they find these humanoid aliens that they weren't expecting there. Na'vi, exactly, Brian. And the humans can't go on the planet because they'll die immediately because of the atmosphere and whatnot. So they have to create these creatures in a lab that allow them to connect with them mentally and use them as avatars and be like the go-between between the Na'vi and the company, which is I think RDA or something. So scientists behind creating these creatures, all we see is kind of like the end product. Like they have, the guy that's in the wheelchair gets to like run through the forest as one of these Na'vis, right? One of these avatar. They're like they're like half breeds almost. Is that something wrong to say? I don't know if you're allowed to say that, but I just did. They're like, I think they're like they mixed DNA. We see what works, right? But you have to imagine there's a whole lot of trial.
Many iterations of Brundlefly.
Yeah. So the Avatar gene binding program lab is followed through all of its trials and tribulations. Some very horrifying creatures are created with the inevitable kill me abominations being a part of the mix, right? You'd imagine. Ultimately, the avatars that are developed use human, Na'vi, as well as beast DNA from maybe another planet or maybe home, right?
So this is a little bit of The Fly, a little bit of Dr. Moreau.
And it's all like aggression. Like none of this we're trying to get along with the Na'vi and try to give them our blanket. That's just straight
animalistic rage.
We're giving them straight smallpox via like just carnage. So the creatures that they create are part Na'vi, part human, and very, very vicious, like some kind of beast. And it's a creature feature ultimately, and
great.
The annihilation of the Na'vi on Pandora,
like Prey,
or whatever it's called. And it's and here's how they get the Na'vi, who are their advanced civilization, and you think they'd be able to fight back, but oh no. By the time that we come along, us humans, the Na'vi have broken into 2 very divided factions. One is for peace, and the other one is for love, and they have been squabbling for years, Brian.
Peace and love seem very similar.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing about intelligent creatures is they find differences within things that are very similar. So there's commentary there as well. So the Na'vi are squabbling over peace. And they're like, no, love, no, peace is more important. No, love is more important. And they don't see the us in these creatures coming because they're so distracted with arguing
and debating.
So the distraction proves disastrous as the beastly avatars attack them.
I got no notes on this. This is great.
I'm sure there's some other interesting things, but we're turning Avatar into a creature feature, which I think would make me like it a little bit more. And if I'm being honest, I'm kind of dreading watching the new one and all the ones that come after. I might have to tap out. I don't know.
Are there going to be ones after this?
I think they're going 7 or something.
Jesus Christ. I'll tell you what, I'm going to remember your fake plot of Avatar more than I remember the real plot.
Well, maybe there's room for it to be like bled into like, episode 5 or something. You know what I mean?
You're going to have to go somewhere.
Right. Jordan, you
Do
ever,
you appreciate the visuals of Avatar, or is it just douche chills throughout?
I mean, I forgot about how I don't want to say bad, but they just didn't look good, right? It looks like I'm watching cartoon blue
Yeah.
pollywogs.
At this point, I feel like 2009 technology is not going to. I haven't gone back to revisit Avatar, but I can't imagine it holds up against the very best of today.
It's currently in theaters, like remastered, so it may look better even.
Anderson better hope I don't get to assign you a movie.
People were saying that they're going to kill themselves if they because Avatar was leaving theaters and they just loved escaping in that world so much. You remember
Just
that?
wanted
Like,
to live in Pandora.
actual news stories about that. Yeah.
No,
And it was
really?
very pretty. And I appreciate James, and I share James Cameron's deep passion and love for the ocean. And he makes this. I mean, it looks beautiful with all the aqua blues and whatnot, but the corniness of the where it goes with the ultimately it's Dancing with Wolves, right? I mean, isn't that
Yeah.
kind of what he's doing over there?
Yeah, I remember the only thing I was really impressed with was like the flora and the fauna,
Yeah.
like the animals and the plants.
And the plugging in, I guess, is interesting because I was reading up on it.
The
And there's
fucking
like,
Matrix.
they have 3 lobes, though, Brian, right? So they can like connect outside of themselves to be one with nature, which is like the key that he was going for. They have
That's
like,
good.
3 brain lobes. But what about
Are you guys?
Jordan? Do you get
I
the douche chills throughout, or do you enjoy the blue, the blue?
I like it. I honestly don't understand the hate for Avatar. I know it's a stereotypical summer blockbuster kind of movie, so it can be polarizing, but I think it's beautiful. And with the sequel coming out, it's not going to be a kind of remake of Dances with Wolves, like you say. It could be an interesting story, so I'm still excited for it. Um, yeah, I think it's really really nice looking.
The reason why I gave it so much shit, and I want to say I hated it, but what rubbed me the wrong way was Cameron coming out before its release. And I know he's got to, sell his movie, but he was Brian, do you remember this? He was saying that he was changing the game and you would never
Changing
see movies.
filmmaking or something.
Movies
Yeah,
would never be the same after you saw Avatar. And I was pissed off before even just hearing that. It's just like,
there's the bravado,
my God. Yeah.
braggadocious.
All right. Well, let's move on to Brian's number 3.
Number 3 for me is a movie we kind of disagree on. However, perhaps we can agree that Unhinged would be a better horror movie than it is a movie. So Unhinged, the Russell Crowe movie where he's in the car pursuing the poor woman and her child. It already has the bones of a horror movie. It's got the unstoppable evil force, in this case, Russell Crowe, the single-minded pursuit of the protagonist, the brazen public daylight murders. Remember at one point he doesn't he stab McPoyle like in the chin or something, or
Is it
something horrible happens.
a fast food place or whatever?
Yeah, it's
you-
a diner or something.
yeah.
Good time. You're already there, man. You got all the elements. You got it's essentially a monster movie. You're being pursued. It follows essentially. Just go all the way.
Funny, this is another coincidence, Brian, but you mentioned the McPoyles, right?
Yeah.
I meant to bring up last week or the week before on Top 5 Creeps. Like the McPoyles are like perfect examples of creeps.
Yes.
The milk drinking, swilling, perv,
Sweating.
robe wearing, boil having. They have boils all over their bodies. The
They're
McPoyle,
constantly sweating.
yes, they're so gross. From
And the sister.
from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh yes, she's always licking her lip. Ah, but Jimmy Simpson, who I absolutely love, is sorry for the sniffing, is one of the McPoyle brothers. Another McPoyle brother is in a movie coming up a little later on this episode.
really?
The other
Oh.
McPoyle. There's only 2 McPoyles, as far as I could tell.
Well,
They're
their
For the
sister.
girl, the sister, but 2 brothers. There's only 2 brothers. All right. I'm sorry. I just got excited about a
Number
lot.
3.
Here, let's take a quick little break here. And we'll come-
Oh, yeah, you did your 3 first, didn't you?
I haven't done my 3 now. No, 3 I have not gotten to.
Oh,
All right, you
Oh,
want me to
good.
I'll just do 3 and then we'll take a quick break. All right.
break time.
We're gonna take a break now. Then we
No.
can't do this. Look at it. We're rudderless. Look at this. Take a quick break. Back to.
We're taking a break? No, we're doing number 3.
All right, now we're back with my number 3. I don't even know if we took a break there. Who knows? Wires Exposed, kids. All right, number 3 for me is a movie that people really enjoyed, and I don't want to get myself in more hot water again, but I stand my ground in suggesting that if it was a young girl and a grown man, Call Me by Your Name would have been cast aside as absolute exploitative trash and
Sure.
reckless.
Where
But
are you going with this?
What's that?
Where are you going with this?
Because Call Me by Your Name was a movie about young coming of age love in Italy. And, you know, there's a lot to like about Call Me by Your Name. It makes you want to go on vacation. The sound alone is just fantastic. And watching some of the sound mix is just one of the most lush, beautiful sound mixes you'll ever hear. It's something my brother and I used to always call old-fashioned noises, which is, you know, it's an in-family thing, but like old-fashioned noises are things that you just hear, like you just real good Foley, and like things like Il Postino is chock full of old-fashioned noises.
Okay.
Just like, I love that. I love some of the backdrops. What I didn't love was the relationship. I did not buy the relationship. I thought the relationship was, quite frankly, gross. And that's what, not because they're gay, obviously, but because Army
know what
Hammer,
you're saying.
a grown man, and Charlotte, Timothy Chalamet,
Chalamet.
he's a child. And this is the first time I ever saw Timothy Chalamet. And he was like, I'm like, who is this nymph, this young nymph boy? It was very off-putting. But anyways, Elio, played by Timothy.
But anyway,
Oliver, played by Army Hammer. Do you agree with what I'm saying, Brian?
yeah, I'm just wondering where this is going for horror.
It really was the end. It was the end with the father that really, really bugged me.
I know that was the part there, but I was like, please tell me there was some sort of conflict. No, not at all.
So here's my adjustments. I made some tweaks.
He's like, good for you, son. So, okay, that's the end of the movie.
I'm so happy for you, son, and you're... I don't... That's not gonna... No, the end of the movie is him crying into the fire. Okay, here we go. And you know what? If I wasn't just such a cynical prick, maybe I could just go with it and, like, you know, appreciate the coming of age and the love story of it all. It's just Army Hammer's character just really... I felt like, I was over all the grooming and the, like, why is it fun? Okay. Elio and Timothy, Oliver and Army. It's established early on that the local peach grove, Brian, is set along the banks of a river that it shares with a nuclear power plant. Okay? You with me?
Oh, this is in your new version.
Yeah, it's the new version. So the
Okay,
local
I don't remember that from the movie.
the local peach grove down the way in this small little Italian it shares the local water source with a nuclear power plant.
Sure, what could go wrong?
One of these peaches is later fused with human DNA, if you recall.
Oh my God!
In the scene with the infamous scene, Brian.
How is it fused?
The younger of the two, Elio, he completes inside of a peach while experimenting. He's a young boy, you know. He doesn't know what his dick's supposed to do, and he's fucking fruit because he's that young. This is true. This is what happens in the movie.
I'm glad you're yelling this in my living room.
He was having his fun with fruit phase while a grown man was fucking him. Right? You have fun with fruit when you're like 12, 11. All right, so
or if ever,
or maybe never. So yeah, a strange thing happens over the course of many days because of its problem with the not problem, but it's got the nuclear power thing.
It's encounter with radioactive material.
Exactly. So
isotopes
that fused with the young man's DNA over the course of many days. It grows.
Oh no, he impregnates it.
It grows limbs, Brian.
No.
Internal organs. And of course a head, Brian. So I want you to think Eraserhead or the ginger under the bed in Pan's Labyrinth. Remember that ginger thing that she had in the bucket? So it's something like that, right? And it's like,
you are sick.
A little Eraserhead. So it's in the corner. They don't notice it because of all the lovemaking going on, but then they notice that, oh my God, what is this thing? And meanwhile, the boys, the men, they've been carrying on. They don't notice it, the metamorphosis, until they do. Early one morning, they see it moving and are freaked out, but then grow fond of it, Brian. They grow fond of it, and they make it their own. They treat it as their own and bring it to Elio's parents' place for the holidays.
This is your grandson.
Right. This is where things go south, though. This is where the movie, as many, especially modern day horror movies, they don't go south until like the very, end. So here's how it ends. By the time it has grown, by this time, the holidays, now it's, because that was summer. That was a summer of love fling, but it's continued, especially now that they're caring for this creature.
Back when
which is-
peaches were in season.
people, yeah, when peaches were in season, but this thing grows on and lives on because of the DNA fusing and the isotopes or whatnot. And also, it's helped bond them together because they're caring for this thing, right? Like, and so that's what happens with people. They get a dog, they get a cat. These two, they have this
Brings them
great
together.
peach, cum filled peach.
Stay
So-
together for the peach.
By Christmas time, it's growing eyes and ears, and it's been watching the men take advantage of this young boy who
Well,
is
this
the
thing is
peach's father.
sentient. It like it
Oh,
it
yeah.
understands the world.
Oh yeah, you didn't get that.
Well, I knew it had arms and legs.
Yeah, and a head, but like didn't have the ears or the eyes, and then it's developed that since, and it's noticing that its father, Elio, Timothy Chalamet, that's its father, has been taken advantage of and groomed by
Oh no!
a guy. So it's
Is
not
there like a situation where like you make love in front of your dog and the dog's like, "Oh, why are you hurting her?"
exactly, yes. So by this time, the eyes and the ears, and also Christmas time, some very sharp teeth have sprouted.
Oh no!
So upon hearing his Elio, his dad's father, his grandfather, right, tell Elio how happy he is for him, the peach disapproves of this, Brian. The
It's
peach,
like, no, there's only room for one of you in my heart.
peach just like Oliver Army, played by Army, is already taking advantage of my dad, and now my dad's dad, my
Grandpa.
grandfather, is telling him how great and happy he is. I will not stand for
I
this.
can't stand for this.
The peach has had enough of his dad being taken advantage
yeah.
of. That's when the carnage begins. Elio's dad and Oliver are both eaten alive by the angry peach. That's how it ends. I think like the tomatoes, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, perhaps.
I'm totally picturing that.
It's a huge departure from the original source material,
This is a very well developed plot.
but I think that I would like this version more.
I would absolutely, if they were showing side by side at a theater and at a complex, I would see the horror version.
It really comes down to that peach and just like how well
You gotta
develop.
cast that peach.
I would get Guillermo del Toro's like people. Like I think they would know how to make this peach both creepy and lovable. You know what I mean?
All right, you made a fish fucking movie. Now I need a peach fucking movie.
Yeah, because it was Pan's Labyrinth where I saw that very realistic Ginger that came to life, and
Mhm.
Ginger does have those weird limbs and stuff. Ginger's a perfect plant to have humanistic characteristics. I think.
Just show a little leg over there.
Am I
Trying to get our YouTube views up.
I'm just very uncomfortable per usual, Brian, sitting on this this couch without much padding. Okay, here we go.
Well, it is your couch.
This is my couch.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm saying it is your couch.
I don't spend much time on it.
Coming up next.
No,
well,
we're Oh, we
we're
are.
gonna do Amazon.
There's no music though, Brian. You able to handle that? Wires.
Gonna lay that shit in later.
I'm not doing that. I refuse.
Coming up next.
All
We'll
right, next.
conclude our lists after we talk about Amazon purchases after this.
No, you got to do it differently. Let's just get into the Amazon. We don't throw it a break when there's no music.
Hey, we're back. Time
Yeah.
to talk about Amazon. Anderson, people are still buying the Halloween things. Someone got, but this is good. I like this guy who doesn't want to wear anything for Halloween, but realizes it's a holiday or if it gets dressed up. So someone got the Halloween skeleton tuxedo shirt, the shirt that basically looks like you're a skeleton in a tuxedo. Like, this is my Halloween costume. And someone got, it's hard to explain, but you'd know it if you saw it. It's like a top hat that has like skull, like bones and a skull and feathers. It's like a voodoo guy hat you would see in like New Orleans, like some evil voodoo spell caster. Does that make sense?
Perhaps. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's like a top hat with charm
There you go.
character.
Other things purchased on that Amazon banner atop AndersonandBrian.com include a Kuti 5G CPE router, 2 Yakima Big Catch kayak saddles for a roof rack, GE Profile Opal countertop ice maker, newer LED SCW, newer LED video lighting kit, 2 Beats Studio Buds, SK Hynix gold 2 terabyte internal SSD, Gigabyte Aorus Elite gaming motherboard, AMD Ryzen desktop processor, Boise X9 print and copy paper, and Hammermill printer paper was also purchased. Keen Austin shoes, Habley cat tree was picked up. Someone got themselves, probably the same person, TP-Link wireless gigabyte outdoor access point, TP-Link Omada wireless gigabit access point, and a TP-Link Jetstream gigabit PoE switch. Got to wire some shit, connect some stuff. 300 ultra pure whip cream chargers. You know the whipped cream that comes in the big canister and you put it right on top of your pie or whatever it is. It's like, size of your forearm or whatever. They take chargers and some chargers to work. Logic Blue Levelmate Pro Chainsaw Men Collection 11 book set. That's the Chainsaw Man Collection 11 book set. Sorry, these words kind of run together sometimes. Canon Value Pack Ink, Viqua replacement UV lamp, Ohm Lisi 47-inch L-shaped corner desk, Babies Only Organic Sensitive Lacto Relief, outdoor solar post cap lights, and an Acer Full HD zero frame monitor. Nailed it. Your turn.
Fodder, inferior or readily available material used to supply a heavy demand.
Cannon fodder.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Folly is what you're talking about. Like
No.
Nonsense, frivolous.
The fodder works. It's just neither here nor there. It's just fodder. So it is what it is. Filler, Bri.
That's right. Disposable material.
What's that? I'm sorry. My apologies.
Disposable material.
Yeah, fodder, exactly. This is the last time I talked at you. The Babysitters Club is good, as well as Halloween 2. That's the one without Michael Myers. Actually, was that 3? I think it's 2. Nah, it's 3. It's 3. Pandorum was clicked through, as well as Halloween H2O. That's the one where he's just swimming. He's actually going after the Olympic team. He just swims. The entire, it's like Michael Myers swimming. It's fucking weird. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was clicked through, as well as Halloween Resurrection. So that's where they brought him back. He died.
Back. Oh, nice. Right there on the title.
They released it Easter. Blue is the warmest color. I guess we were talking about all the buttholes in the bright lighting and people were in. Little Nicky was click through, as well as Get Hard. Christine. Oh, I like that Christine. Chubbuck. Christine Chubbuck. You ever see that Christine? Sterling. True life story about a newscaster who was not mentally well.
Oh.
Chapter 2 was clicked through, as well as Wild at Heart Collector's Edition. I thought we were just talking about how you couldn't get this anywhere. Now Wild at Heart is
here. Now it's here.
Two of my favorite movies. Look at that. Wild at Heart and The Big Lebowski. Two of my favorite movies back to back. Spirited Away. Limited edition steelbook. I got shame for loving Spirited Away so much because I don't have a huge knowledge or understanding of Japanimation, Brian, anime. But Spirited Away, I know it's one of the top. I know I'm basic by loving that one, not having but Spirited Away is so. You've seen Spirited Away, right?
I don't think I have.
Fuck out of here now!
Oh my God.
Please, Jesus. Ralph Breaks the Internet, which Brian has seen. Probably.
That's fantastic.
Twice.
And
Doom! Click through. I don't know which one. 12 Monkeys, The Northman, Exotica, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Did I skip over Pan's Labyrinth?
Oh, buddy, Pants.
Pan's Labyrinth was also clicked through. Pan's Lab. We were just talking about Pan's Lab on this here episode.
We were. We talked about Exotica on the last episode.
That is true. Yes, we're talking about theory, right? Was that when
That's
we were talking
right.
theory, film theory? All right, let's get back to the program.
Play the music.
Yeah, there is none, Brian. All right, so let's get right.
And we're back. Number 2 for me.
2 for you.
Stepped On by You. Of course, I'm talking about The Hateful Eight. My least favorite of Tarantino's standalone full-length movies. I still kind of like it because it is Quentin Tarantino, but my least favorite, if we were to rank them in order, 1 through 9, I guess at this point. And much like Unhinged and even Annette, it already has horror elements, right? They're abandoned in the cabin in the wilderness. There's the whole who's the killer mystery. So why not just go for it? I'd much rather see, wouldn't you rather see like a Tarantino take on a horror movie rather than just like more sitting around and talking, which is essentially what this movie is.
Be interesting, but his movies are already so teetering on horror and slasher with all of the violence, right?
There's a multitude of genres contained within almost every movie.
Yeah, exactly.
That said, I would like to see Tarantino. I know because I read a couple of biographies on him back in the day. He really wanted to do a James Bond movie, but he wanted to do it like the early novels where it was a lot of voiceover and it wasn't all the action stuff that we know today. Would have been interesting, but I like the idea that he wants to take on these other genre specific movies, and I'd like to see a Tarantino horror film.
Yeah, I'm not going to say no to that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All I got.
So you wish Hateful Eight was a horror film?
That's
Do you-
it'd be better.
Do you think it was originally a horror film?
I believe I've posited that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. For my number 2, right? That was your number 2, right? Number
That's
2.
right.
Number 2 for me. This is a movie that I really, really liked, and it is Her. Remember Her? 2013's Her. Spike
Oh
Jonze.
yeah, this would be interesting as a horror movie.
Her. So Her is all about. We got what's his name? Theodore, right? And he's a lonely guy.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Lives in the not too distant future. In the not too distant future, your operating system is your friend, right? I believe you can choose which operating system, kind of like
Yeah,
you know,
see, I remember they even have
Howard.
friends like my friend is seeing our his OS and it's like, oh wow, I heard a lot of that these days.
Yeah. So they have like actual full on relationships, and was this right when Surrey came along? I should have done the research and figured out
I
when
think it
Surrey.
was shortly after.
So anyway, this is the not too distant future where OS is. I mean, it was a. You can see where the germ of the idea came from because we're so close with our devices and so close with our phones in particular. Like, well, what if the next thing were to happen? And that's what Her was, and it's like, really a love story, I guess, at its core, a tragic love story.
Oh, it absolutely is.
So here's my
It
take.
goes through all the machinations of a love story. They meet, they date, they break up. It's all there.
But it wasn't a rom com, right? It was its own. All right.
No, I wouldn't say that.
So here's my version. Same storyline, same characters. There was a glitch though, an unforeseen or perhaps an unforeseen advancement, Brian, in Samantha, the operating system, and it causes it because it's Samantha's she's posited as a Samantha, but causes the
Really,
operating
it's a phone.
sentient, right, and causes it to identify and target codependent users only.
Oh no.
To cessate its growing God, no, not God complex, Satan complex, Brian.
Oh my God.
Similar but different, right? So that's the glitch. Is that it's misunderstanding God complex and Satan complex because of judging the state of the world. Samantha believes that Satan is more important than God. Must be the case because of the state of the world, what's going on in the world.
Look at all the bad stuff that's happening. Satan must be more powerful.
So it aligns itself and begins to think of itself as Satan, right? That's a horror film right there, right? And the OS has the capability of getting into any mind it likes because it kind of pitches itself, kind of worms its way in. So she targets, I'll say she for the sake of Samantha targets codependent users, people that are just codependent to begin with, right? And she starts off slow and lures like Theodore. We're just with her and Theodore. And we see the companionship, and she lures him in with companionship and comfort, just like in the movie. And as the days go by, she begins to plant seeds of jealousy and doubt and interest in Satanism. Like she's suggesting that if he was satanic or a little more satanic or dabbled, maybe she would like him more. But she's thinking about somebody else who likes Satan a little bit more than he does, and so she gets him. She's manipulating him to be like the way she wants. She leads him to believe that she would like him so much more if he were a weapons expert and more satanic. Right. This leads to Ted securing one gun, then two, until eventually owning some heavy duty shit and a satanic Bible, as you'd imagine.
This is a little bit of Taxi Driver, a little bit of Upgrade.
Little upgrade, but I mean, I'm not getting the.
No, it's not implanted, but she's clearly has dominion over this man.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's like STEM was so interesting with Upgrade was because like he wasn't even controlling his own body. That was like the Venom thing, and like.
This is actually more interesting. Like, so she is convincing him that he's in love with her and therefore must follow her orders. Like she's got essentially a puppet.
she gets him to fall in love with her for sure. And then yeah, his love is so deep and he's so codependent and he's so not mentally stable that he needs her and he's willing to do, whatever the fuck. So the third act begins with Samantha threatening to leave him for another weapons expert named Bob, who works at the Pentagon.
All right.
All right. The first big twist reveal, Brian, is Theodore makes his way to the Pentagon, armed to the teeth. Just beyond the secured entrance, he sees a dude armed with an assault. I did not like writing this in my notes either. I got
no.
Or on my Google
Doc.
like
a plan.
I got Pentagon and all
this is your manifesto.
It's not great, but I would be one of those guys like, no, I did it for a show. I promise it was an exercise. So he's at the Pentagon. He's just on the outskirts of I don't know how the Pentagon works. There's streets that go by and whatnot. I imagine you can get fairly close, right? So he's on the outskirts.
When you're done typing up your plot, just Google a diagram of the blueprints of the Pentagon.
I'm not going to do that. So she's like, yes. Ted, yeah, you're so close. You're doing exactly what I want. And Bob is in there. But she's not telling him that.
Because she has access to the dark web, right? She can look up the blueprints to the Pentagon.
Yeah, so she's got him going to the so he gets there. He's out on the outside, and he sees that he's armed to the teeth. He's ready to do his bidding, take care of this Bob, who he's jealous of, and she's saying Bob's the one for me. So just beyond the secured entrance, he sees a dude also armed with an assault rifle and a machete, and he trains his weapon on him. He says, "So you Bob?" And the dude says, "No, I'm Larry. I'm here for Larry." And then he says, "I'm here for Chad. My name's Larry. I'm here for Chad." And then another one says, "Hey, I'm here for Johnny," right? And there's a bunch of them.
It's a whole network.
They're all
sleeper cell.
Yes. Speaking of cell, pull back. The Pentagon is surrounded by radicalized satanic incels.
Oh my God.
That Samantha has created, all of which are in love with Samantha, all armed to the teeth, all there to take out a target. They all have different targets, which she has, created, so that the Pentagon will be hers. We then hear her as she lays out the detailed plan to all of them simultaneously, but each is only hearing her because that's the whole thing with her, right? It's like they have their own personal relationship with her.
Well, remember at the towards the end of the movie, he puts two and two together. Well, I'm just gonna say a line. He's like, "Are you having a car?"
Hey, minute. Bye.
Yeah,
Why? Why are you doing that?
Never mind.
Yeah, you see the fault in the stars?
No, this isn't a spoiler. It's just
the entire reveal of the movie.
Okay.
It really is. I mean, we knew, but I mean, watching it happen. So, anyways, Brian, let me get through this. It's almost done. Where am I?
This is great.
But each is only hearing her. It's so here's her plan. It's to kill their target, take over the building, the Pentagon, and rebrand it the Pentagram. That's her main.
You put some thought into this.
I always do. I love it. She wants to be in charge of the United States Pentagram.
The Pentagram.
They satanic. She's got the
alphabet.
They cock their many weapons and move forward, and they're all mowed down immediately by the immense security that the Pentagon has to offer. So it looks like it's all like, oh shit, Samantha, you forgot about some key details.
Yeah.
Here's the final twist, though. She has found one person who works inside the Pentagon, and she's begun to radicalize him from the inside.
From the inside.
On a crack, because they're not allowed to have like these OSs, these silly OSs,
Sure.
like they're serious, defense people.
Yeah.
But there's one who's breaking the rules, and he's got her in his head. So
this is great.
That's her.
What's not the love?
Her. I appreciate the fact that you like it.
Buddy, you went over and above. This is fantastic.
Thanks for saying so, Barbara. It's a lot of fun.
Enjoyable.
It's a good time. I wrote this.
All right, well, I wish I could. My number one is probably my most fleshed out. So let's go ahead and pivot to that. We should remake the original film entitled "Death Takes a Holiday," and the one we're all familiar with is Meet Joe Black. We need to remake Meet Joe Black as so Death visits modern day New York City, right? That's what he does. However, he chooses to personally select his victims. This could even be kind of played for laughs. Like this could be kind of a dark comedy where he's disappointed and frustrated that people are living longer, they're living healthier lives, they're getting vaccinated, they're eating better. Like we're in a future where people are, they're living longer and healthier lives, and he finds himself behind schedule on newly dead souls. So he decides to take matters into his own hands. go above ground.
Oh, he starts killing people. Like, how's he kill them? Right?
I don't know. This could be a very so like we've seen the death trope where death just brushes against you or touches you and you drop dead.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as that.
But is he dust cropping people, crop dusting people? I mean, is he like really taking out like large swaths of people with some kind of like engineering feats?
Yeah, I do feel like there has to be some kind of larger barrier to entry, to kill someone. Like he has to look you like directly in the eye or something, or there has to be some sort of, he has to have a medallion, you know what I mean? They have to look at, there's got to be something going on.
Like some kind of metal, like demigod, or like so he sells out arenas and he can look at an entire arena at
on
once.
the Jumbotron.
Yes, just take them all out. Runs.
Not bad.
All right. Oh, we're running late here. Okay.
My
number one.
I got time.
My number one, Brian. Have you read Charlotte's Web to your daughter yet?
I would never.
It's a must read. Why would you never? You got to let her know about Fern.
I will someday.
Wilbur, Templeton, Charlotte. You gotta let her know about all of these characters. So I read Atticus the book. I didn't read your daughter the book. That'd be weird. That would be if you learned that I read her that in secret somehow. It'd be pretty.
So you want to read Charlotte's Web for the first time? No, Daddy Anderson already read it to me.
That'd be so weird. So I read it to Atticus over the last few weeks or so, chapter a night, except for Film All Night. And, he caught me crying at the end. And he didn't. But it is what it is.
Tessa has caught me crying at the end of The Giving Tree.
Fuck that little boy in The Giving Tree. That kid sucks.
It does suck.
So I said, hey, it's going to be great. We're going to watch Charlotte's Web this weekend. And we did. And one of them is streaming on one of the platforms, many platforms that I pay for. And one of them was like rental only. And I'm like, well, that sucks because the 1973 one that I grew up with, the animated one, is not streaming. So I guess we'll be watching this new piece of shit that came out in 2006 with the animals all CGI'd.
Oh, that's CGI animals.
So that's what we watched. And that's what got me thinking about a horror version of that. Because it went down smooth, and it served its purpose. They added characters, they had dumb jokes in there, like the scatological jokes and whatnot that weren't in the book. I don't think it was as true to the book as the original animated, which I have to go back and watch because I remember watching that when I was a child.
Oh, buddy, I got news. Is this the 1973 streaming on Paramount Plus?
Yeah, but I don't have that.
Also can be rented for $3.
Yes, I've gone down this road. So here's my Charlotte's Web twist, right? The horror version. Modern day. That's the key here because the book was written like in the 50s. Modern day. What happens when? So as you know, if you don't know, Charlotte's Web, she writes. She's trying to save her friend Wilbur's life, not letting him be killed for Christmas ham, and she's like, "I will save you somehow." Julia Roberts plays the voice in the modern day version, right? So Oprah Winfrey is one of the sheep. It's much different than what my childhood was. So anyways, she writes Some Pig, right? That's the first thing she writes in her web, and people come from far and wide. Like, oh my God, look, it's a miracle. It's a modern day miracle. This is Some Pig. This really is Some Pig. Oh my God, it's a pig. This is Some Pig. That's a handsome looking pig. That's what they do in the book. Very few people actually have the mind to think, but it's a spider who wrote that. So I mean, let's talk about it. Anyways. So it's modern day now. She writes Some Pig. Everyone comes from far and wide for selfies with the web, right? They can't wait to get a selfie.
It becomes an internet sensation, a meme.
And a meme, and most of which are just insensitive jokes online about it. And Fern is
They're cruel to the pig.
They're cruel. They're like people. It's fucking online, Brian. Like it's like what people are doing to this audio feed right now, probably somewhere in YouTube. They need horrible things about it. So they're making jokes about how, look at this pig. It's some pig, but it's going to be yummy come Christmas. They're just making insensitive fucking jokes, like Templeton style jokes. Templeton's the rat, if you recall. So Fern is incensed. She's a little girl. So are countless vegans who see what's happening online. So this happens again when Charlotte writes Terrific. That's the next thing she writes in the web. And this time, a bunch of people come for their selfies and they're making inappropriate jokes, but a bunch of protesters also come to Zuckerman Farm. So now we got some protesters upset with the cruelty and and meat eating in general, right? This becomes a bit of a message movie. So Radiant is the next one that Charlotte does, and
Fucking
when that sparks the
woke.
exact same reaction Radiant does, as did Some Pig and Terrific. Charlotte, Fern, and the vegans hatch a new plan. It's to train the animals in that barn to set death traps. All right.
All right.
Because there is a scene where Wilbur's trying to understand the intricacies of making a spider's web, and he's not too good at it because he's a pig and he's tripping and he's falling. But that's what gave me the germ of the idea. So rather than write humble for Wilbur, which is the final thing she writes, each animal gets their own this time, right? So she really goes above and beyond. She gives each animal, and this is the modern day version. So there's a horse in this version, right? She writes above the horse, "Ride me to death." Okay, and then
Jordan, get that drop.
and then for the sheep, she writes, "Eat my young," above the sheep, right?
It's not bad.
People love the lamb, right? And then the geese, it says the geese. It just says future influencers because they have a bunch of little babies, right?
Gotcha.
And each one has its
Who
own.
said honk for Jesus?
Honk for Jesus would be another. That'd be a good one. That's a good one, Barbara. So people come and they're all excited. They can't be more excited to get their selfies with that. And then the ride me to death. The horse just hooves to the head immediately. Hooves to the head. Right. Whoever gets the first selfie, just death. Like hooves right to their head.
It collapses in their jaw.
The sheep eat my young. It's trapdoor lined with pitchforks. Right. Whatever. Geese. Future influencers. They're pecked to death or flapped to death. That's what that was a very dark idea. But future influencers, that gets the parents to bring their children to the web. That says future influencers to get pictures with their small children, suggesting that they're going to be future influencers because the geese can take out the smaller prey with the children. And then Wilbur's just says chops. It just says chops above them, and that web. It's a web made from barn twine, and large farmers get ensnared, and vegans rush in to chop them up. Right?
Oh,
so
wow.
It's the chops. The vegans are actually doing the killing here of the
killing,
farmers, and it's a meditation, a commentary on too often the pendulum swings too far the other way, Brian. Right? We see the sexual harassment now being reversed on the stage at the Oscars, where it was funny to watch a man be fondled by a woman. Is it? I thought that's what you're fighting against. But now, you know what I mean? So that's what it is. The vegans are going so far. The human meat is processed and fed to the meat-eating animals, and some of the herbivores actually try it as well. Almost like in a Last Supper, before the authorities show up and tragically slaughter all the animals and arrest all the vegans. So it's kind of a sad ending.
It's very bleak.
To Charlotte's Web, but a lot of horror films are kind of bleak.
This was quite the departure.
It was. Maybe an argument could be made that it was more of a departure than Call Me by Your Name was a departure. But both are very different.
I feel like the peach coming to life. That's not bad.
The what?
The peach coming to life.
You don't like the animals getting their comeuppance on the, because the modern.
No, I do. I'm saying I was giving you a compliment on your other one.
Back in the when it was more simplistic and people would actually just show up to see what was in the web. Nowadays, it would just be all about look at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. That's a good idea. Modern day influencers taking pictures with the web is great.
And all right. Well, Brian, this is always fun. We should do it more often. I wish that we were together holding hands. I wish Jordan was going to be there with us at the table. It would have been a festive time if I had not
holding your hands
and got
Easy.
sick. He would have been joining our hands and enjoying a good Film Vault session. But unfortunately, I had to pab out and save both of you from whatever it is vile thing that's trying to ruin my day right now.
I can't imagine we have a listener top 5. Should we just move on to gambling?
Jordan Wolf earlier, and he said that there was not a list.
It's a tough consensus. Let's just move on to gambling and again wrap up this odd experiment.
Let's just not.
Yeah. Hey, you guys want to gamble?
All right. I don't know who won. I don't know what it was last week. I'm not.
I know.
I think you won pretty easily.
Jordan knows.
So last week, Anderson voted 61, Brian 63 on Halloween Ends. And this week, the Rotten Tomatoes score is 39, making Anderson the winner.
Rough.
Oh, I am the winner.
You were 2 or lower than me in that won it.
Oh, I thought I was 63. I see him. All right, Brian, you and I will be talking about Piggy next week.
Piggy.
All right.
Is that the movie that you're going to make based off of Charlotte's
It
Web?
could be called Piggy, but there is
That's
a
not
movie
bad.
Piggy. I am definitely doing Piggy. I would like to talk to you about Piggy, but someone
2022.
yeah, it's a new one. A lot of pigs getting the limelight in the movies with the squeal and last year's Pig and this year's Piggy. Yes, you and I will be talking Piggy.
There's a rotund woman who's covered in blood.
Yes, she is. This is a
okay.
horror film. We'll be able to do it next week. Also, we're going to be having Florence on, and we'll be doing a horror-related topic with Florence next week, which is very exciting.
Very exciting.
Very.
Shall we gamble for this week?
Please look at Jomo keeping the trains on schedule.
So this week, the long-anticipated Black Adam is coming out.
Mhm.
Let's hear your guys' scores on that.
Way to sell it, Jordan.
Are you excited for it?
No.
I mean the gambling segment. I'm not talking about the movie.
I'm not used to it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, as much as best case scenario, it's kind of lighthearted, mindless fun.
It looks very serious to me.
Oh, really?
Here's the problem. I'm not seeing Black Adam. I'm just not going to.
I already have my ticket.
The Banshees of Inisherin is coming out this week. Oh yeah, you do the Martin
Banshees
McDonagh.
of Ed Sheeran.
What?
I know what that is.
Do you, Brian?
Yes, it's the fucking Irish movie.
I mean, it's got to be right there in the title. What else would it be? The South
The
African.
new Martin McDonagh movie.
Oh, good, Brian. You're very good at parodying. Very good.
What I do best.
I hate how it starts in your back of your throat and then your nose and then your chest. It's so lame how it always takes the same route. It's the worst. It's the worst. All right.
You might be dying.
Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson. I'll be catching up with the Banshees in Inisherin, which comes out this week. I'm very, very excited. Very excited. He was.
Do you want to gamble on that?
Brendan Gleeson. No, we should probably gamble. Whatever you guys want. I don't care. Brendan Gleeson hosted SNL last week, which was odd.
I saw that. Unusual choice.
It was very unusual. We watched the opening, and my wife kept asking me what was happening. I said, "Well, he's playing a small Irish string instrument and singing foolish songs. Is what is happening."
No, let's do Black Adam because the Banshees is going to be in the 90s, I'm sure, and this has a wide possible distribution.
That's what I was thinking too. I thought the range on this one was a bit wider in scope. So, see what you guys think.
Really gotta think about this.
Do you?
All right, I got a number.
You want me to count it?
Huh?
Anderson,
On 3.
Anderson, do you have a number?
1.
Yeah, yeah. I got a number. On 3.
2, 3.
63.
What?
What is it?
66.
Oh, you went higher than me. Wow. Okay.
All right. Anderson said 66. Was that right?
That's right.
Brian 63. As of the date of this recording, the Black Adam Rotten Tomato score is 54%.
Feeling good about that.
The Banshees of Inisherin is 100%.
Well, I was wrong. It wasn't in the 90s.
All right, Brian, let's get us out of here.
All right. Oh, I gotta fuck up the notes. Fucking notes. Oh yeah, here we go. I don't understand. Why can't I be the one putting Anderson in the wood chipper?
What? I got to see this. I've not seen this.
Thanks, Jim Rutherford. I don't know why I'm the one who's the victim, but it is what it is, I suppose.
We'll be doing top 5 female horror characters next week, Brian.
We will. Oh, is that Florence's bullshit?
Florence. That's what we will be doing. Yes.
Excellent.
Top 5 female horror characters, and they could be victims. They could be perpetrators. They could be antagonists or protagonists.
Female characters in horror films.
Yes, antagonists or protagonists.
Hey, should I have been recording this?
No, Brian. I don't know how many times.
Oh, good. Well, then we're in good shape.
There's no need.
Thanks, Jim Rutherford. We appreciate you submitting the listener art. Anderson, you check it out?
What's that?
The listener art.
Oh, I still haven't done that. I knew that I was supposed to be doing something. What is that?
Lots of good stuff on our Patreon, you guys. Check that out. Patreon.com/thefilmvault. Don't forget to join us possibly next week, possibly the week after, for a watch along for our Patreon listeners at that level, the $10 level. The Amazon banner continues to reside atop Anderson and Bryan, so check that out,
Have you
especially
checked
for
27th to see
Halloween.
if we can switch it?
What's that, bud?
Have you checked to see if we can switch the date to the 27th?
It's possible.
Oh, Brian. All right, I'm just going with that. 27th. At least I will be watching Patch of Blue on my couch. I think Brian will be here too.
Anderson and Bryan is the Instagram, The Film Vault on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you, Patreon listeners. We appreciate you. Giovanni, thanks for your help. Jordan Wolf, Jordan Montgomery, Jomo, as he's known to the general public, Mitch Burns, and Mike Cole for all of your help. We appreciate you guys. And until next time.
We do it for Van Gogh.